All right, all right, all right. Hi, you guys. My name is Denise Walsh. I am here every single Monday hanging out with you to talk with you about how to be the best coach, as well as how to grow a lucrative, thriving coaching business. You are most likely in this group because you have had that stirring, right, for a while that you want to do something new. Maybe you're currently in the helping professions. You are a teacher, a nurse, a daycare worker, a counselor, a psychologist, all the things. And you are somebody who wants to add value to the world in a new way. Okay, with that being said, I want to tell you a little bit about my coaching program and how I have developed it over the years. Now, we are so grateful, right, for Zoom, for Facebook, for all of these mediums that allow us to get in front of people, not only get in front of the right people, but build rapport, build relationships, connect, add value from our own home. I want to hear from you if you would like to work from home. If working from home is something that intrigues you, if you want to wear pajamas on the bottom and a nice shirt on the top and host coaching sessions or meet with clients and support their growth from the comfort of your own home. I'm not going to lie. It's an amazing part of what we get to do. As Dream Life coaches, we do so much. We add so much value from the privacy of our own home. But here's the deal. Today, we're going to talk about getting out of our house and actually planning events for your clients to experience. Live events, whether we like it or not, add so much value to our programs. But there's a lot of ways to do it. And there's a lot of money that can be spent unnecessarily. And so today, I am going to invite my event planner. We've been planning live events for over a decade. We've done events on cruises. We've done events in hotels. We've done events in houses. We've done events in the suite of hotel rooms. We have done so many things, and we've learned a lot of strategy along the way to ensure that these live events get the clients get the most out of them, and it becomes a well-oiled machine so it doesn't feel hard to put on. Because as you know, if it feels hard, we're probably not going to do it. And so I would love to hear where you're at in the comments. Have you planned an event before? Do you want to plan an event, whether it's a training or a retreat or a girls' night for your clients? I'd love to hear what your experience is and what your dream might be in the comments below. And as you are sharing with us, I am going to introduce and invite my event planner, who is a pro when it comes to ensuring that clients are going to get the best results for the biggest bang for your buck. Big dreamer welcome to Alicia. And she's coming in from here we go. Hello.
Hi, there we are.
Yay! All right. Well, welcome to a Dream Life experience. I go live every single Monday night at 7 p.m. in the Become a Dream Life Coach group because I want to support clients or coaches in being the best coach they can be and build thriving businesses. And so today we are going to talk about events. And you and I have been planning events for the last 10 years. Seriously. Maybe even longer, actually, because Owen is 12 and our first event happened when he was a baby.
8 weeks old.
It's so fun. And we've learned a lot along the way. I was telling them before I brought you on that we've done events in hotel rooms, in hotel conference centers, in the suite of a hotel, on cruise lines, in houses. We've done retreats, we've done full day events. So let's talk a little bit about the importance of getting clients in person and the energy of a live event that you just don't get on Zoom.
No. I mean, there's something about being with a human. I mean, you can get excited on a Zoom, but you can feel excited in a room. That rhymes. We ought to label
Write
that.
down. We're gonna put that on a t-shirt.
That works. And there is those moments, for example, on Zoom, we have a start and a finish time. And when we're at an event together, there's the event time with the presentation. Then there's the downtime. And then there's the time that you're going to eat before or after with the group. Or there's that downtime chilling by your fire pit or walking, in the mountains of Tennessee. There's those times that are part of an event that, you get sometimes more than what you paid for the ticket. So
yeah. I often tell people the aha moments can happen in the hot tub. Like, although the training is excellent, you never know that nugget that you're going to get from just chit-chatting on the couch or brainstorming on the beach or all of this extra time that's not necessarily structured, but adds tremendous value.
Absolutely. And so many times, the people around us help intensify the event as much as the keynote speaker. Sometimes we all feed in and we get ideas and inspirations from the leaders and the person sitting right next to you. So it is so beneficial to be one-on-one. And the other thing is the time commitment. We have a Zoom, but the dishes need to be done and you're thinking about that, or the kids are screaming or the dogs are barking in the background, so you might not be really focused 100% when you're on a Zoom presentation. But when you're there, baby, you are all in. You are in it, you are living it. You get to absorb a little bit more and have that me time that allows you to have that more of an inner experience that you're not going to have with a non-live event.
Yeah, it's so true. So I did some coaching programs myself because I know that coaches need to be led too, right? And so I'm always in a coaching program and looking to people who are 3 steps ahead of me. And so for 2 years, I was a part of a coaching program and it was phenomenal and it added tremendous value. It is, to be honest, why I created the programs I have so far. But it was all on Zoom because it was international and they didn't offer live events as a part of the program. All of the events were on Zoom and it was exactly that. I got a lot out of it, but I had to pick up my kids at 3. The dogs were barking, Costco came, whatever it was, I was distracted. And because I'm sitting on my computer, I'm often listening while I'm responding to messages or finishing up emails or working alongside the training, which is a benefit perhaps of the Zoom because I can multitask, but also means I'm not getting the depth that I really do want while I'm there. So let's talk a bit about creating memorable events. And I know you often talk about the 5 senses and really incorporating all of the senses when you're hosting an event. And again, this could be a retreat, this could be a workshop, this could be a girls' night, this could be a 2-hour, 3-hour event or a 3-day event. So all of the tips and tricks that we're going to give you truly are representation of like any sort of in-person get together.
Yeah. So one of the things that I want you to think about when you're thinking about the 5 senses of an event is I want you to think of the last time you walked into a high-end hotel or boutique. What did it feel like when you walked in the door? Did you hear soft music playing or something kind of that got your blood pumping a little bit? What did you smell? Was there a smell? Did you know, like the DoubleTree, they're cooking fresh homemade cookies all day long, or they might have a fancy machine going that we don't know. There's the smell, there's the sound, there's the feel. Is it stuffy and hot, or is it light and airy? Are you freezing to death? No, it's normally just right. It's normally just right because you want to feel good. So I want you to think about, what does it smell like? What does it sound like? What does it feel like? Think about all of these things when you're talking about the 5 senses. You want to hear it. You want to see something glorious or fabulous. Some of our events you talk about, we've done them all over the place. We've done international events. We've done events in tree houses. We've done events on cruise ships. But, part of that was that visual stimulation. What is visually moving to you? Is it the mountains and the beautiful landscape, or is it looking out, at the beach in the morning at sunrise? So you've got that visual, you've got the smell, the feel, the taste. What are we tasting? Are we tasting those chocolate chip cookies? Or are we having fresh mango by the beach? So think about the different things of your event, and you want to always encompass those. And ways that you can do that: essential oils. We've used essential oils if you're not baking cookies. Or, what about fresh bread? You might want to throw some fresh bread in, or those chocolate chip cookies. You can get the Pillsbury cut and dough, whatever it takes to give those. Make sure that there's great music going, either they're pumping people up, giving them the relaxing feel vibe.
Yeah, we have an event coming up in Destin. So as a part of the certification program, clients are invited to the events that we throw. And so we have a retreat coming up in Destin, and we have a Spotify playlist for the Zen moments when we're doing journaling, or we're doing our group activities and we're talking. We always kind of have music in the background. We have the Spotify playlist for the excitement up in, the dream dinner where we're stepping into our dreams and we want to have that high energy. These are some things that you want to think about before you get there. So, for example, Bluetooth speakers, or do you want a microphone when you're talking? Let's think. We've got essential oils that we put on each and every floor. So these are just things that we come prepared with that I think help to elevate the experience, and people might not even put their finger on why.
Yeah, lighting too. So if you're doing it in your location, you can use whatever you want. But if you are using a rental or someone else's location, think about it. A lot of places don't allow candles, fire lit candles. So you need to use electric. They also might not allow for loud music after 10 o'clock. So those are a couple different things that you'll need to check on when you're checking on your venue too. But make a checklist in your brain. What's it going to look like? What's it going to sound like? What's it going to smell like? What's it going to taste like? What's it going to feel like? If you'll do that little checklist and add those little things up, and like Denise said, prepare in advance. You don't want to be making your Spotify list the day of the event.
Not that we've ever done that before.
No, never.
The other thing I just was thinking of when you were talking about the senses was, we've learned that bottled water goes fast, right? And is halfway drunk all of the time. Like nobody actually drinks a full bottle, and then there's just litter and trash and it goes by fast.
There's half-drank bottles of water everywhere.
Yeah. And so we have learned to do cucumber water or lemon water. And again, it's spa-like with cups. But those are some things that can elevate the experience and support your budget.
That's right. Reduce cost, and it's prettier. And if you got a little detox water going on, it's better for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And so another thing that can make it a memorable experience is meaningful gifts or takeaways afterwards.
I love gifts.
Yeah, we always try to connect the gift or the takeaway with the theme of the event or the communication that we're having, like the chit chat or the group times that we have throughout. And so what have you learned about the gift giving and take home events? Because we've done it right when it's just a 3-hour event and they leave with a 3x5 card with their goal on it. Or, it doesn't have to be huge, grand things. It's just a pen that has your event name on it, or something that they will take home that when they see it, they'll remember you.
So there's a lot of different things with the gifts. Think about gifts that you've received in the past. Okay. One, did you ever use it again after the event? That's kind of important. So one of the things that we've used is t-shirts. You've got that memory that is etched. How many of you have t-shirts, sadly, from maybe 20 years ago that you just won't let go of because it's not the t-shirt, it's the memory that you won't let go of. I know I do. They don't fit anymore, but I'm not letting go of that memory because of that shirt. Also, is there some practicality in it? Are you doing a day hike and a little backpack, would be great. Or are they taking home tons of literature and materials? So a tote bag would be great. Or is a bottle of water or cup we use, what is it? The waters that we've used for refillables. Like a thermos, like a water bottle, like a logo water bottle.
Yeah.
That's something that they're going to use over and over, and they're going to be able to remember your event and your goals and their dreams and what they thought about, what they felt, and how that event changed their lives every time they drink out of that water bottle. So little things too, think about cost, because logo items can get pricey. Not only do you have to look at what the printing cost is, and then you have to look at, sometimes these printing companies want you to order in big quantity. So be careful with your cost, and make sure that you look at that in your initial budget and not in the add-on at the end, because you can get it really messed up with that. And just make it memorable. Just make it something that also comes from your heart. One of our favorite gifts is our little photo frames. I don't want to give too much away though. So I won't say anything else. Oh, stickers. You know what? People love stickers.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And they're not.
I know. I'm like, how much do we say? Because we were
I don't want to give anything away.
But I have thought about that. Part of the beauty of it all is the surprise. So we sprinkle surprises in throughout the entire event. So although the detailed people that come want to know their itinerary, they want to know what to pack, they want to know, we try to give them the details that they need to satisfy that greenness, their detailedness. But we do,
or the red control,
the element of surprise, because that excitement or that surprise is a memorable experience in itself. You think you walk in and you go, wow, wow, like how, like you remember that feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the next thing I want to bring in is the itinerary. What are some things to consider when you are creating and crafting the itinerary? And I'll start by saying one thing to consider is the goal for the event. Now, we are going to invite all of this group, whoever is interested, to an event at the end of this live. But those who are in the certification program get to come to a 2-day workshop. And so every event has a different purpose, essentially. So, for example, when we were on the cruises, we had a 2-hour group time, and then the rest was considered fun. And then we would do dinner together, and that was intentional as well. So there was less group experiences and more fun experiences because you're on a cruise ship, and we were taking advantage of all of that. A Dream Life Adventure, the goal is to balance the group introspection time and the group exercises with alone time and with fun. And we kind of weave them together, because my purpose of a retreat is for people to feel like they get a big, huge, deep breath, and they get to reconnect with themselves, and they leave shifted. A workshop event like we're going to do in January is really tailored to business strategy. And so it's going to be woven in again, right? The business strategy with the personal development exercises, with the time to actually do the work themselves, with the fun, because we always end with a dream dinner. But I think when you're considering an itinerary, you want to consider about the goal of the event. Why are they coming? What do they really want to get out of it? And then how can you give a balance of content and connection? What would you say?
So while you're dealing with all of the introspective of it, I'm dealing with all of the, it's got to be timed out, because what happens a lot of times is some great meat of your day might not happen because you don't have it properly scheduled and you don't stay on task on time. So make sure that you set a really detailed timeline on your itinerary and stick to it. And you got to be Gumby sometimes and be a little bit flexible, or something might happen, but realize if you let someone else in the group take control of the time, major things that you want to accomplish won't get accomplished. The other thing is, typically we all underestimate how much time something's going to take. So go ahead and, like, if a segment in your brain is only going to be 30 minutes, schedule it for an hour, because we typically always run over, and you would rather have extra buffer time than feel rushed and run out of time. So make a timeline, stick to it, and buffer it.
Yeah. I went to an event, you guys, a few months ago. Let me think. Yeah, I don't know, a few months ago. And it was the worst event I've ever been to. And they started 2 hours late. They had no itinerary, like nobody knew the speakers that were speaking. They did not have an MC. So they didn't even introduce the speakers. One speaker would come up and talk for 20, 30 minutes, and then they would leave, and the next speaker would come, and you had no idea who they were or why they were there or what value. So like afterwards, I found out some of their stats, and I thought I would have paid more attention if I had known. But these are the things you want to think about. If you're planning like a workshop full day event, you want to think about food breaks. You want to think about maybe a 15-minute bathroom break. You want to think about if you're going to do like some workshop time. So, I mean, you could spend an hour and a half on one topic where you teach for half an hour, they write for a bit, and then you brainstorm and talk to each other for a bit. I mean, you want to just include all of that in your time slot and add a bit of room, because people will always ask questions, and those questions are really valuable, and you don't want to miss that.
Yeah, I love the idea with the itinerary too, and having that schedule given out, because we've always known that confusion creates indecision, but it also creates division and disillusion. And people lose their focus, they lose their interest, and it's hard to pull them back in if you're not staying on track and they don't know what's going on next.
Right.
I did an event for about 300 people 2 weeks ago, a huge political event here in the Carolinas. And on every we had about 300 people, and on every table there was just a little place card that I printed out the night before, and it had just a little timeline with everybody's name and what was happening. And you would be surprised how many people were like, thanks for putting that out there, because they kind of knew when the raffle was going to be, when the keynote speaker was going to be. I mean, it's just like going to church and you get a bulletin, you know what's happening.
Yeah.
So,
and it makes you more engaged, because otherwise you're busy thinking, what is happening next? Or are we running over? I mean, we were like, do they even know what time it is?
Or you have people that are paying for a $200 a night sitter, you know, and they need to know if it's going to be finished up and they can get home in time. Right. You know, they don't want to be thinking about that.
And I do think it breeds trust, it breeds trust. I really pride myself on starting Zooms on time and ending Zooms on time. And then the same is true for live events. I've learned people like will treat you how you treat them. Is that how it goes? No, people will treat you how you, I don't know. The whole point is, if you start on time, they will show up on time. If they know you're going to start late, then they won't show up till 15 minutes later. So I have learned to start on time, to end on time. And if I am over, then will either cut something or just say, you guys, we've had such a great conversation. Is it okay if we do go over 15 minutes and get their buy-in? Because I want them to know that I know, and we're not just going blind.
Right. Absolutely.
Now, the other thing I'll mention when it comes to itinerary is it's so helpful to not put on an event by yourself, because as the coach or the speaker, I, to be honest, would just come and like sit in a circle with a notepad and be like, oh my gosh, let's just hang out all day, because I think it's so fun and I've got a lot to say and I can just feed off of your questions. I don't even need to have a speech prepared. But in order to elevate the entire experience, right, you need help. So Alicia comes to these events and she helps to do all the background stuff of making food and decorations and making sure everybody knows what's happening. So number one, I can be present and talk to people and not be the hostess running around figuring stuff out. But also people can ask her questions too. So if they need something, they can go to her and it's not all on me. And so think about, who do you want to help? Who could help you? Who could help you do the registration table? Who could help you, do the raffles? Who could help you do gifts or be in a small group or all of these little things so that it's not all on you. And I think that helps elevate the experience because they've got more than just you that they're benefiting from.
I relate this back to the mom who wants to do all the decorating and the cooking on her daughter's wedding day. No, just don't do it. You can't do it all. Okay. So do what you need to do in your wheelhouse. Okay. So Denise does beautifully as a coach. I'm not the best coach in the whole world. Okay. So I do beautifully making sure everything's running smoothly and, everything's going on time and the plates are set out and everything's tip top ready to go. And Denise has ability to spend time one-on-one with her guest and coaching. So find people in your organization, in your group, in your wheelhouse, and barter, trade in the beginning if you have to figure out how to bring them in to help you. Maybe you have a friend, you have a huge following, and she does custom florals. Well, get her to do your next event with her florals, and you will advertise to all your group and to all of your followers, or balloons or what have you. You have someone that does food or charcuterie boards or something like that. Do some bartering out with them to get, or do a group presentation where, you get the main stage speaking event and each one of the people that help elevate your event gets a little side plug somehow or listed in your program. So there's ways to do this within budget affordably and to take it to a whole nother level until you get to the level where you're wanting to be. And you just walk in an event center and 10,000 people are coming and all the world is grand. But even Tony Robbins has his people that he has take care of everything. So.
Well, and that's the thing is, I think at events, we are so heart-centered. We want the best for people. Coaches are people who want to add value. And so we might not be the detailed ones. At least I know that is not my strength. And so to have somebody thinking about some of those details to help elevate it, make the entire event just much more smoothed out. Now let's talk about cost, because events can, we've held one night events that cost $10,000. We've hosted retreats that cost $20,000. They do cost money to put on the event. So they need to be included into the cost of the program. You need to think, like what Alicia has helped me do is figure out the per person budget for the event. And then you include that into your program so it's in that program cost, right? If you're going to include the event in the program, or certainly if it's a one-off event, obviously you want to charge for the ticket and just make sure you're at least making your money back. You're going to get you're going to get marketing pictures. You're going to be able to make reels for days. You're going to get a ton of content that's going to support you. But you need to I would recommend making your money back and more, right? Because you don't want to go in the hole on these events. The goal is to have a thriving business. And so when you're doing your per person breakdown, think about how much you want to make, add that to the total budget, and then divide it by 20 or 10 or how many other people are going to be there. And that will help you to figure out how much to charge. So what are some things that people don't often think about when it comes to the cost of an event?
Oh, I could talk about this for days, but let's just talk about a few things. One is always work backwards. Okay. First and foremost, what's the goal? Okay. Is the goal to make money on this event or break even? Please don't ever set yourself up for loss, because you're a great coach. People need to hear your program. People need to be a part of your event. And if you start doing events that go in the hole, go in the hole, go in the hole, guess what? You're going to stop doing events, because you need to be elevating yourself and the event. So start backwards. First and foremost, with the venue, with the location. That is going to be a huge cost for you, and prepare for the unexpected. Like I said, I've been doing events for, we're talking about 15 years.
I bet you've been doing them even longer than when we met, right? Because when I met you, you were like, yep, this is what I do.
Yeah. Well, I had worked at a winery doing weddings and events and stuff like that prior to that. But for example, I even kind of got punched a few weeks ago. The event that I was planning here had a covered outside area. we oversold the outside area and had to rent a large tent. The tent was $3,000. So we had to come up with some way on the fly really quick to cover that additional $3,000 cost. I mean, that's not an easy cover at the end. So really, really think about your venue. Really, really think about that event. Then think about the food. Think about the printing. Think about parking. Think about your help. Think about the paper products. Think about, I mean, the gifts. You've got a large list of things to list down and be really detailed. Then I'm going to add something to that. Just add 20% across the board, because things are going to come up. I mean, how many times have we done an event, Denise, that we haven't had to rush and go get something last minute? It always happens. There has to be things added. And so add 20% to whatever that cost will be. And also in your prep and preparation, remember the rule of thumb of attendees, because that's super important too in evaluating cost and breaking it down per person. And I don't care if you're talking 1,000 people or 10 people, this rule holds true. 20% of the people won't show up. 20% of the paid people won't show up. Okay? And if it's a free event, only 20% of people show up. Okay? So it's the rule of the 20. Paid people, 20% won't show up. Free event, only 20% will show up. So if you're doing a ticketed event, you just need to remember that. Oversell, you can always oversell, and also be prepared for what your refund policy is going to be, because you have those expenses whether they come or not. You've already put that in your prep. So what does that look like? And go ahead and be prepared for that with those things in mind. And always know food is always going to cost more than you think. And also prepare for all of the different dietary needs. If you are preparing food, it's sometimes easier. A fun event would be, have a weekend getaway and have each person prepare one of the meals, and they're responsible for bringing all the stuff in if you're trying to save money, or have a cook or a chef or a parent come in and cook for you all weekend. There's different ways to do it to save cost, but always detail and put every little last salad dressing in that budget.
Alicia is so good at that, and she's so right. I remember thinking, when I'm planning these retreats, I'm like, no, of course they're all going to come. It's Costa Rica. They have already paid. We had 2 people canceled the week before. Like, it just happens. It's just a part of the game. Life happens, or, something happens that's out of anybody's control. And so you do want to have your refund policy in place, because the barrier you can have with a house event like we've been doing is that it can only hold so many people. So at some point we cap it. Well, what if 4 people back out and I could have added a few more? So you want to just be sure that you've got the refund policies in place, or maybe they move it to the next event. But that is one reason why we are moving to the workshop events in North Carolina in January, and then potentially in Grand Rapids, Michigan in the fall. Next fall, because then there's less of a cap where we could have 20, 30, 40 people there, and they're not taking up a bed. They're not, and if they cancel, it's not like totally impacting all the things as much as it might be in when we only have 12 people that show up. So with that being said, we have 2 events that we're planning. We've got one that's already planned, really. Destin is in October. We actually have a meeting right after this with those coming to Destin. And because it's part of the Dream Life certification, not only do they get the personal development content, they get the introspection space, the meditations, the journaling, all the things that create time for, but we also add marketing and business strategy. They get one-on-one time with me. You're hosting a marketing seminar. And so there's a lot of really fun things we're able to do because it's the certification crowd. And so the certification crowd now is getting the workshop in January. So for those that are signing up in the certification, they get to come to Charlotte, and the Dream Life coaches are always invited. And we're going to do a 2-day event in North Carolina, ending with a dream dinner, which is like always the exclamation point. But we also have a Costa Rica event that we're brewing. And this is where I want to invite all of you. In my dreams, like in my goals, right? Only Dream Life coaches will be allowed or invited to the Costa Rica retreat, because this truly is an elevated event where we can talk high level coaching strategy, marketing, business. We can take, content for social, like we can do a lot of things when we're all in like the like-minded, right? Like we're all coaches building our business. However, this is going to be the last one that we're truly inviting anybody who's interested in going. So whether you are a certified coach or not, we are inviting you to the Dream Life Adventure in Costa Rica next March. And so during this event, we have something fun planned each day. For example, one day we are going to see monkeys, because I know, I'm so excited. They put a banana on your cheek and they train them to lick it off of you. Like, I cannot wait for these pictures. We are going for a beautiful waterfall hike. Like, we've got all these things planned that really give you and your soul the space to breathe, but also you leave super motivated and super inspired.
It's amazing. You do not want to miss Costa Rica. And if it's the last free open event, like, grab your bestie or your somebody, and you need to go ahead and lock this down. We already have the house locked down, and we already know how many people are going to be allowed to attend. So you don't want to be left out thinking about it. So go ahead and lock this trip down. You definitely want to be there. We just talk about all the event planning and all the, oh, do this, but oh, don't do this, don't do this. But the main thing is just do it. Just say yes. The main goal is to say yes. Be at the events. If you're a coach, you need to be at events, like, to get refueled and re-inspired and remotivated. It's that energy that drives you to take you and your life to the next level. So got to say yes for that. And then it's probably at these events that you're going to have triggers that are going to help you take your events to the next level, that you're going to be inspiring and motivating other people that are in your circle.
Yeah, and you get to experience it for yourself. I mean, it's one thing to listen to a video, right? And it's another thing to be immersed in it. Faith messaged and said, oh, Becca's saying, I need to go to Costa Rica again. Faith says yes to Costa Rica. Sarah said, I'll bring my cats to the dream dinner. She was the cat lady. I love it. And it's true. Like, these events are game changers. They do kind of take you in a different trajectory. And so Costa Rica is now open. It's not free. It is a paid event. However, it's open to anybody, including Dream Life coaches. So if you're a coach, consider coming to Costa Rica. It's included in your year certification, or you can certainly do it separately. And I'll be putting the link to the Costa Rica event in this message, or put Costa Rica in the comments below, and I will send you a link to see if it's something that's in the scope for you. Next March is the date. Now, I want to share one quick thing before we end, and that is the house that we have is literally perfect. I love it. It is on the stinking ocean in Costa Rica. It's in front of black sand. We have our own little yard, and then 2 doors down is a pool with a restaurant and a swim up bar and like fun stuff to do. So it feels like you're at your own resort. It's really, really perfect.
It's so safe too. It's a gated community.
Yeah.
There's tons of Americans right there. There's a lot of Spanish speaking, but there's a lot of English speaking too. I mean, we never felt uncomfortable at any time. It was amazing. And everybody was so nice and so helpful. And, to wake up and look out at these surfers at sunrise on the Pacific Ocean, you just don't get that. Is the dream life. That's the dream life. So you have to be there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, Alicia, thank you for elevating all of the Dream Life events, not just over the past few years, but really over the past decade. You have elevated everything that we do to create an experience for people so they leave change. So those of you who are coming to Destin, Alicia will be there. You get to say hi to her. And then if you're interested in Costa Rica, you guys, this will be the last event open to the public. It will then only be for Dream Life coaches. So put Costa Rica in the comments. I'll send you the details, and I'd love to see you there. Have an awesome, awesome night, you guys, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.